Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender, the Me, Myself, and I playthrough of the main event scenario. Game is published by GMT Games, designed by Salvatore Vasta. We're getting ready to go into the February 1945 turn. So we're getting close to the end here. We do have to roll for weather. So, I got my card too big. Can't see my dice to click on them. Guess I should take it down a little bit. There we go. So, for the cold zone, we roll a 2. A 2 in December to February is poor. Ta-da. And then we roll for the mild zone. Another 2, which keeps it at poor. And then in the warm zone, we roll a 4, which puts it at poor. So the weather is poor across the map. Makes it easier for me to think about, but like I said, everything right now is inside the mild zone weather tracks, so it's pretty much that's the only weather that really matters. But it's poor in the mild, so that's something. Nobody's going to declare war at this point. Economy phase, I think I've done it all correctly. The Germans start off with 13 minus 8, which leaves them 5, and then they add 8 from economic reforms, which gives them a total of 13, which is 26. And I'm losing my voice again. Hopefully I can just keep sipping water and keep going through this. So the Germans are at 26. They're not giving anything to their allies. The British are where they've always been. 9 minus 1 is 8, plus 3 is 11, plus 8 is 19, which is 38. And the Russians are at 58. So nothing has changed there because factory loss markers have moved. And the German willpower is down to 26. So I don't know if I can hang out for enough turns with the Germans. It's going to be close. Unless I get horrendous die rolls again, like I did the last time on Aachen, and the Germans will just laugh at me. Okay, strategic warfare. The Russians are at +2 because the Germans have 6 conquered countries. Germans are at 0 because they don't have anything. Now they do have a subs marker, and the Russians have a partisans. And since there's nothing inside any Russian-controlled territory, that partisan can only really be used to, mess with their strategic warfare. So you're almost guaranteed that the Russians are going to play their partisans. And the Western Allies probably are going to do the same. Because I think is there even any place in the West that's there's a couple of hexes in the Netherlands that I could use them on. So might use the partisans there, might not. I'm at +7 right now, so we got to think about this. The Germans are at so I don't want that one. National tracks. The Germans are at 8 lost factories. The question is do I want to try and sneak one back from the Russians and then lose it back to the West? Try to sneak one by the Russians and sneak an extra one back from the West? I don't think, from a strategic standpoint, I think I'm just going to try and have to sit at 8 lost factories. So we get to combat commitment. Both sides commit. Germans throw out their subs. Russians throw out their partisans. And we roll and we're halved. So the Germans roll a 4, halved to a 2. And the Russians roll 5 plus 2 is a 7. Halved to 3.5 rounds up to a 4. So a 2 to a 4 on the combat results table is 2 to a 4. The Germans, they just missed it. So the factory loss marker will go up by 1 to 9. And then the West is just going to try and keep them there. So let's see when our stuff comes back. The German submarines comes back in 5 turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they'll actually get them back for July. And the Russian partisans come back in 3 turns. So they'll get them back in May. And Don't know that there'll be much use at that point, but maybe to guarantee keeping the Germans at -9 factories. Okay, that takes care of that. We go into the West. The Germans don't have anything. The Americans and the British have ridiculous numbers of counters out here. Start off with +2 because they're American. America is in the war, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bomb markers, so they get +5 more, so they're at a +7. So I don't think the Germans roll a 6, and I roll a 1. They will get a factory back. So the Germans did not roll a 6. Anything I roll with the Americans with the West will cause them to lose a factory. They can't go any higher than 9 lost factories, so it will just sit there at 9 lost factories for the Germans. And we'll cut down their production by another couple points next turn. Okay. That's strategic warfare. Strategic movement. Was I going to do anything weird here with the Germans? I don't think I can put anything anywhere useful. Everything's like right on the front, and the holes I need to plug up here aren't on rail lines, so I have to move units there, and I can't really. I have a problem here in the east because of this northern breakthrough along Königsberg and through East Prussia. The SS Panzer will probably hold its hex, but I'm worried about losing the 5th Panzer because that's a will point that I can't get back. Losing full-strength armies here is a problem, so I'm going to have to try and break that out. But I don't see any strategic movement for the Axis. Didn't see one for the West. The Soviets. Not really. I don't see anything for the Soviets either. So, all right, we're into Axis operations phase. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to start up my timer. So let's go do that. Make sure I don't want to overrun the Germans. Axis operations. They have 26 points left. They're massively outnumbered in the air. But I'm going to try and do an attack on the 5th U.S. armored unit here. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am going to go ahead and use this airplane. Yeah, I'm going to use this airplane here to go after the American 9th Air Force from the 6th Luft. And let's see, it's poor weather, so I start off as +2 for German, then -4 for sorties, and -2 for weather. Ick. And the Americans have -4 or +1 because they're American. Let's get that there. +1 for American, and then -4 for sorties, and then -2 for the weather. So the Americans, the best they can get is a 1. Right now, the best I can get is a 2. So I'm going to go ahead and throw my jets to see if I can get a 2 for 1 here. Kind of just negate this American Air Force so that when I jack here, he won't have any airplanes that can support the 5th. Maybe I can force him to retreat, get him behind those ridge lines there, basically into the Alps, and that kind of keeps him from being able to push forward into Munich easily because that's a lots of minuses there and lots of movement points to move into those spaces. So I'm going to throw my jets. Where's my jets? I'm the only one who can throw something here. Now the Allies could throw an ultra marker to give them a +1, but I really don't see the point. I think that ultra marker being +1 in a combat might be far more important. So I'm going to let the airplane get whacked. So, I'm just going to put the German jets. Where'd they go? There they are. German jets are out. Okay. So that gives them a +2 so that they're at a -2. They need a 5 or a 6 to get a 2 for 1. So Germans are all a 1. It never fails. So we each exchange just becomes a straight exchange, but I want that American airplane out of the way because it's poor weather. And the jets go back on the turn track. Where's my jets go? They're there. So I get them back next turn. Yuck. I can't really do much with those airplanes, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can throw this airplane that's just southwest of Hanover. He can actually reach that hex with the 5th armored, so we're going to go ahead and do that now while I can. Yeah, let's try this way. All right, so we're going to. Where are the Germans? I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 4. I'll put these over here, and I activate the Africa Army, and the 17th and the 12th, and they will be all be assaulting the 5th. Right now as the Germans, I'm +2 because I'm German, +1 for each buddy. And then -1 for the weather, -1 for the mountains. And the Americans are +1 because they're American, +1 because they're armor. And then I can throw in an airplane, and he can't, which would give me +3. I could throw the tanks marker to give me a +4. I think I'm just going to go with just the airplane. I'm going to use the tanks somewhere else. So that's a another +1. So I'm +3 to +2. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1 for the weather, -1 for the mountains. Or the hills. So yeah, that's a 3. The Americans are a 2. Americans could throw a free forces here or an ultra. Again, if he retreats me, I will just give up the assault through southern Germany and probably move the 5th around the corner and just say, I really don't care if he retakes stuff in Italy. We'll just fly stuff away and be done with it. We'll just move around the corner and come at him through France, maybe. Okay. So then we get to do die rolls. The Germans are +3. They roll a 6. +3 is a 9. Ouch. And the Americans are all 1. +2 is a 3. That's not good. 9 to a 3 is like a DD. Isn't it? Yeah, it is. So the Americans are flipped. And then forced to retreat. I will take it with the infantry unit that was in Munich. So that's kind of solidified my southern German front. I can get away to Jean. I can go to Marseille. Capture Marseille. Then I can move American fleet up here. Yeah, play games. Not good. Not really good. I was kind of hoping to keep that pressure up on the south. Well, now the Germans are a little bit happier with that. I'm going to spend another 3. Try to redress this over here. I can't really stop his airplane from helping the British, but I can fly mine in. So I start off at +2 because I'm German, +1 for the armor, +1 for a buddy. I throw in my airplane, and he's going to throw in his airplane at least. That's British one here. Most likely along with his tanks marker. So he would be -1. Right now he's at -1 because he's +1 for British, -2 for garrison. And he can end up adding +1 for an armored and +1 for an airplane. So he can get all the way up to +1. Okay. And, oh, I'm -1 for the weather. So I'd be a +3 to a +1 without throwing in my airplane. Or my tanks marker. I could, well, he's just going to counter-air me somewhere. So maybe I throw in my airplane just to get some use out of it. Or I could throw it in down here. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4. -2 would be +2 to +2. Yeah, okay, we go to combat commitment, British commit, and the Germans commit too. They're going to go ahead and throw this airplane. British are going to throw their airplane, and then they're also going to throw tanks marker to try and keep that guy there. We have an air combat. The Germans are at -3 net. No, -5 net. Best they can get's a 1. And the British are +1 for British, -2 for the weather, so they're a net of -1, and the Germans are like a -5. So, best the Germans can get's a 1. They roll a 1, and then the British roll 5. -1 is a 4. 1 to a 4 is an AS. And if you look over here, an AS, attacker and defender each add their air support. So the Germans get an extra +1. So they started off at +1 for 2 for German, +1 for armor, +1 for buddy, +1 for the airplane, -1 for the weather. And the British started off at -1. They get +1 for a tank, +1 for an airplane. So it's +4 to +1. And the Germans roll. 5 + 4 is a 9. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And the British roll. 5 + 1 is a 6. Let's go see what a 9 to a 6 is. I think that's just a retreat. 9 to a 6. Yep, it's a retreat. So, back I go into Amsterdam, and he'll take it with the infantry, and then we have to put the... Oh, I have a sortie here, and he got a sortie marker. Okay, now we're all good. And then the British tanks go on the turn track for next turn. Okay. So, at least I didn't get eliminated, right? Still holding Amsterdam. The Germans now need to go repair the east, I think, before I do any more attacks. I kind of cleaned up my lines over here. It'd be nice to push the first French army, but I think I'm going to have to spend some points over here in the east to try and slow this inexorable red wave here that's just... Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I activate him for 1. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 for the hex and 2 for the unit. So that's an assault there. That's another one. Right, I spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I started at 26. I'm at 18. Boy, that's very... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to have to move this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. To hold that hex. Whatever I stick in there is going to have a 3x attack on him. That's not good. There's not a lot I can do about it, right? I'm kind of stuck here. I really would like to get something in that hex. I need to put something in that hex. Okay, that's going to be taken care of here. That's another one for that infantry I just moved, and another one for this infantry. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, I'm sorry. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to have to move this guy. 1, 2, 3 to here. And then 4, 5, 6 to there. And then this infantry is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into there. Just 2 more. And I'm going to spend 4 more for the armor. Leaves me at 10. A and Control A. They're all assaulting here. So that's what we're doing there. And can't really stop the Russian Air Force from getting through, but I can probably get mine through, so he'll be a +2. Okay, currently I'm going to go with the SS Panzer as the primary. So he's +2 because he's German, +1 because he's elite, and +1 because he's armor. And then I'm adding in an armor, so that's +2. And then I'm adding in an infantry, that's +1. So right now it's +7 to +1. He's going to definitely get an airplane, might even throw a tanks. So at worst he can be a +3. And then I would be -1 for weather, so I'd be a +6 to a +3. I could maybe be a +7 to a +3. I think that's probably what I want to do. Alright, so we'll fly. We go to combat commitment. Everybody commits. I throw in an airplane. He throws in an airplane. I would be, the best I could get is a 2. He was at -2 with another -2 is a -4. Best he can get is a 2. So it's going to be 1 sortie for each, and we're going to get through. That's why you just saw me do that. The math works out that the airplane's going to get through. And I think the Russians are just going to stop with just the airplane. So they're at +2. The Germans are at +7, if I had it right. So the Panzer is +2 for German, +1 for Panzer, +1 for elite. That's 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. -1 is 7. So it's +7 to +2. Yeah, +7 to +2. We'll let it go. +7 to +2. The Germans. 3 +7 is a 10. The Russians roll 3 +2 is a 5. So it's a 10 to a 5. 10 to a 5 is just managed to get by the DDs. I'm only retreated. So that's good. Good for the Russians, bad for the Germans. They wanted to step loss them so they wouldn't be quite so potent. That's going to be a 3 hex attack. Somebody's going to blow me up, so I'm going to go ahead and move the infantry unit in. I'm hoping he holds long enough to just let me retreat this freaking armored and get the heck out of Dodge. But, we'll see. I still have, this was activated. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Spent 16, started with 26, I got 10 left. don't have a lot of movement left I can really do. I really hate to plug the hole this way, but I think I have to. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to do that. That's 9. I'm not going to get any airplanes back here, I don't think. Might get one somewhere. I do have to move one more garrison unit. This guy just needs to get on a rail line. So I'll move him towards the east because that's where he's got to end up going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He ends up in Berlin. Okay. So just double check. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Started at 26, 18, and 8. There I am. Okay, do I have anything out of supply that I need to move something to make them in supply? That's the big thing I have to check here. No, those guys will all be supplied. All this is in supply. So the Germans are all in supply as far as I can tell. So, yay. The Germans are good done. So all their stuff's in supply. They've got 8 points left to flip over some infantry and make good any losses that come about. Not the best of worlds here, but acceptable, I guess. Okay. We're going to call that the German turn. So that is the German February 1945 operations and beginning of turn stuff. And we will return next time. The next part of this episode will be the Western operations phase. I'm Gen608. If you like my videos, please subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And we will be back shortly with the Western Allied operations phase. Bye-bye.